Hello and welcome to the second devlog for Advenclave. In this devlog, I'll be focusing on my journey into creating randomly generated dungeons. Before I started, I had to work out what style of dungeon I wanted and how it was supposed to look, tossing up between a floor plan that you would see in games like Diablo, or something similar to a Binding of Isaac, Moonlighter, or Zelda, where it's instanced room by room. In the end, I decided to go for a slight combination of both, where there are rooms, but connected by smaller hallways, ones that aren't too intrusive. The main reason I steered away from an instance version was so that I wouldn't need to constantly jump between scenes. This game is multiplayer, and managing 4 players constantly shifting from one small room to another sounded like a logistical nightmare. Now the party can all be in the same scene, running around a big map without any pesky loading screens unless they're going to move to another level or floor. Once I knew the style of dungeon I wanted, I just needed to draw out some sample rooms and plug them in. I started with a simple small square, added in larger rectangles, larger square, and some L shapes. At this point, I've only implemented the rectangles and squares. That's purely due to only needing a small set to be working with while developing the code. The next part of this was deciding how the dungeon layouts would be created and the flow from start to finish for the player. I went with an approach where the entrance and exits are placed at the opposite sides of a grid's X and Y, and pathing is selected at random to get from one to the other. When the path is selected, place a small room at each of the nodes in the path. This then creates the initial flow of the dungeon. Although this creates a basic flow, it isn't exactly fun for the player to be running down a linear route. Next up, neighbor rooms are created and placed, which rooms they join to, how they join, etc. This creates the complete layout for the dungeon. After that, room substitution comes in like so. This gives us a variation of room types and makes it feel a bit more natural. After this comes the final step, and the one I completely failed at, and that is hallways. My original approach, while flawed, time-consuming, and completely pointless, that's it. It was dumb. It was a bad idea, and I went with it. My great idea was to map out every instance of the room and every single door combination they can have. On a room with 4 exits, it's got 15 combinations. I drew every single one of them, all decorated the same, which is boring, so I thought add some variation in. 3 different layouts for each, 45 room combinations to manually draw? Sure, why not? I thought this was manageable. What I didn't consider was a room with 6 exits. Now that's 43 variations, multiplied by 3, 189 different room types to manually draw. And now this was starting to blow out. Did some quick math on the 8 door rooms. Each one had about 250-ish variations. And that's when I realized I'd wasted a lot of time. Even with my basic rooms with absolutely nothing in them, it was looking at about 1,000 files, and if I needed to change one of them, which I did many times, I would never release this game. And how I solved this was drawing the rooms without any doors, deciding which doors were allowed on it, and if it's only allowed to have 2 of it, only draw those 2. Now, this became 8 files, and much more manageable. And if I messed up, I only needed to fix that 1 file. With all of this done, it's now at a point where I can decorate them and give some variations, and it's complete. I've added some logic to allow for specific room types to be placed at different locations, like puzzles, treasure rooms, vendors, boss rooms, entrances, exits, that sort of thing. And that brings you up to speed to where my dungeon generation is at. There were other bugs and considerations I needed to fix. Day-night circles underground for no reason, floor tile variation, I drew rooms too small, and many more. That being said, it's in a good spot that'll allow me to work towards a demo. I've linked some assets below that I did use to research my dungeon generation, and feel free to have a look if you are interested. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please reach out if you have any questions, and most importantly, thank you for watching. This video did take a lot longer than I would have hoped to get out, main reason being that the Steam page is currently being worked on. I did want to hold out until that was complete, but the gap between videos was getting a bit too wide. I will make a small announcement video when that does happen. In the meantime, if you would like to support or keep up to date with the progress of Advenclave, please leave a like and subscribe to this channel. There is a Discord in the description if you would like to join. I generally try to post screenshots and summaries of what I'm currently working on. Until next time, see you later.